Howdy, guys, and welcome to night 22 of the overnight feed recaps for Big Brother season 24. And welcome to Cliff Notes. Tonight's the night. Yeah, it's not just an eviction night, but we're going to see a blind side. I absolutely do believe, and it's going to be so much fun to watch. This is the kind of Big Brother we've been waiting for. So, last night, let's sum it up just in a little bit. Conversations that took place. We had Terrence doing one-on-ones throughout the day. Mira, not so much. She's been a little bit more chill than that. She's pretty certain that she's got the votes to stay. We did have lots of talks that took place. A lot of it, one side of the house lying to the other side of the house. It's tough. So many conversations, so many of them that don't even mean anything because people were just spinning each other up. The leftovers trying to play their game, making sure the other side feels very comfortable. So a lot of conversations that don't amount to a hill of beans, but we got that. We also had Nicole involved in just about every conversation, it seems like, last night. She's probably playing a little too hard. A lot of involvement from Nicole and lots of sympathy vote talk. When you're talking sympathy votes, that means that you're feeling pretty comfortable on your side. There's some people that shouldn't feel as comfortable as they are when they're talking about the sympathy votes. We're going to talk about all of it. There's actually a lot to talk about. So let's just get right into the live feeds. And we'll pick it up right after last night's episode aired. All right, we got the girls and Joseph talking again about meeting up in Florida when this season is over, following the game, while Jasmine and Amira are playing checkers. Jasmine's complaining that checkers is too hard and she wants Connect Four in a house. So I guess maybe the theme of this season needs to be Big Brother. It's checkers, not Connect Four, right? so yeah, she'd rather be playing a little Connect Four, but they're just they're playing that game. Meanwhile, we got a little bit later. Amira's in the back bedroom packing her suitcase for the first time. Having to pack your suitcase really hits home what's going on. It's a depressing situation, but she's packing her suitcase for the first time. They're both mentioning. Now, I thought this was interesting. She and Alyssa are both mentioning that they were told by the Big Brother people to watch Big Brother Canada season 6, which just happens to have had women finish in the number 1 and the number 2 spots for that season. And I think it's Alyssa says, yeah, they wanted us to be badass women this season. Isn't that interesting that maybe there was some push to watch certain seasons of Big Brother to try to help develop maybe some strategies, things like that. I thought that was interesting. Amira is talking a little bit as well during this group conversation. She's saying all the guys really want to get Taylor out. They're so focused on it. Let them stay focused on that. Well, the guys have kind of moved on, but the ladies are certainly not aware right now. All right, we've got Jasmine and Joseph in the storage room talking. Joseph is laying out all the reasons that Jasmine really shouldn't want to win HOH tonight. He's saying it would protect the house target of Turner if you were to win HOH, Jasmine. He's saying you've already won one HOH. If you want a second one, you're going to start getting a target on your back like Michael. So maybe you shouldn't even be trying for the HOH. Remember, the idea is that they really would like to have Turner and Jasmine up on the block next so that they can vote out Jasmine. So he's saying, yeah, Jasmine, don't even go for it. She's saying that she would like to get the HOH just so that she doesn't go on slop. That's her main motivation. And Joseph jumps in and says, hey, if that's what's the issue, if it happens, I'll go on have-nots for you so that you don't have to do the slop. And I don't want you up there in the have-not room with nowhere to prop your foot up or anything. So, yeah, Jasmine, don't worry about it. You don't need HOH to make sure you're not going to be a have-not. I'll volunteer to go up in your place. We'll see. But I thought that was some brilliant talking from Joseph. All right, we've got Jasmine in the Jetsons room telling the ladies. Immediately, she goes back in and says, hey, I just talked to Joseph in the storage room. And so she's passing on a lot of that conversation. Now, here's something that's a little interesting. Jasmine is telling Amira that Joseph is interested in her, showmance type interest, but afraid to actually get in a showmance. Well, there may not be a lot of time left for a showmance, but Jasmine's passing right on that Joseph, man, he's looking at you, Mira. And I think some of this may still be them doing everything possible, the leftovers alliance doing everything possible to make sure the other side feels comfortable with Amira's position. If Joseph's interested in the showmance, he's sure not going to vote her out tonight, right? Well, All right. She also mentions that Joseph really wants Turner out, that he's upset with Turner, and that Joseph just absolutely wants to, even before Taylor, Joseph wants Turner out the door. And she's saying, hey, Joseph spilled his entire season's plans and strategies to me just a second ago. Yeah, Joseph told you what you wanted to hear, Jasmine, not what the actual plans are. Amira is saying, look, I know I've got the girls' votes, and I should have one other as well. So that's going to give me enough votes to stay. I'm good to go. And she's even mentioning the fact that she thinks that there's some people that are going to be giving Terrence pity votes, which she's fine with. Yeah, whatever. I got the votes. If a few people want to throw pity votes, Terrence, I get it. That's fine. No worries. Let's see what she says tonight. Yeah, about 12 hours. So, all right, we got Terrence and Taylor talking. Taylor is saying, or Terrence is saying, look, I've gotten a lot of maybes so far. No one's saying no. They're just not saying yes in terms of whether they'll vote to keep me. But he's telling Taylor, look, if I go tonight, you need to go ahead and link up with Brittany and Michael. You need to trust them. The three of y'all need to work together because that's what's going to take. Otherwise, they're just going to start picking y'all off one by one. And so even as Terrence thinks he's going out the door, he's trying to give advice to Taylor on how he thinks she needs to play to stay alive a little bit longer. I liked hearing that. After he leaves, Taylor looks at the camera and says something to the effect of, I love that man. I'm not going to let him leave tonight. There's no way I'm letting him leave. Yeah, I love hearing that. All right, Nicole, did I mention earlier Nicole's been involved in a lot of conversations, and Nicole's been very emotional this evening. Whether real or contrived, I'm not sure, but Nicole has been complaining all night long that everyone is giving her the runaround about who they are voting for. She can't get a straight answer from anyone. Well, maybe it's because people don't want to spill the beans, Nicole. Some of it, though, when people come and say who you're voting for in Big Brother, you don't want to get pinned in. You don't want to get locked in until you know for certain how everyone else is voting. And the last thing you want is to say one way or the other, and then potentially have a person go tell the other person on the block that, oh, Cliff said he's voting to save so-and-so. It's suddenly your target. So in the best of situations, people don't like committing to a vote. But certainly in a situation like tonight, well, Nicole shouldn't be so upset that she's getting in the runaround. She should expect it. But she's upset about that, that no one's telling her. Nicole doesn't like anyone keeping secrets from her. She wants to be the master information keeper, I think. But she's upset about that. She has told or ends up telling Kyle that she's voting to keep Amira. She's made that decision. And that now that she's made that decision and it's obvious that Terrence is going home, she's going to go ahead and go tell Terrence. At first, she was saying, y'all need to do this. And eventually she says, I'm going to tell Terrence. I've made a decision, so now that's it. For as much talk as there are sympathy votes and all that, Nicole certainly feels like it seems like her vote is the deciding factor. But she says she's going to talk to Terrence now that the decision's been made. All right. She does mention talking to, I think it's Michael and Kyle, telling Michael and Kyle saying, look, y'all need to tell Terrence tonight. Don't wait till tomorrow. Tell Terrence tonight that he doesn't have y'all's votes either. He's a grown man. He deserves to know what's happening. We shouldn't blindside him tomorrow. It wouldn't be a blindside because I think that everyone thinks he knows that he's going home. But she says, y'all two need to go ahead and go tell Terrence. That's the right thing to do. Now, is Nicole saying this because she just wants to be nice to Terrence? That's a possibility. I've worked together, but is she doing it for that reason? Or is she trying to get enough of the house to think that it's the foregone conclusion that Terrence is going home, that everyone else will maybe start leaning towards keeping Amira just to vote with the house? Or is it also just a matter of Nicole wanting enough people to tell that to Terrence so that Terrence just kind of gives up even trying and makes it that much more likely that Amira actually does stay, which is what Nicole's wanting. It could be a combination of all three of those. But Nicole's saying, yeah, I'm going to tell Terrence. Y'all need to tell him as well. But she also tells him, says, look, if y'all want to give Terrence sympathy votes, I'm okay with that. We should have the votes anyway. If you need to do sympathy votes, I get it. But you just need to tell him that he's going home. All right, we've got Nicole and Michael talking. Michael is acting all confused, saying, they're in the have-not room. He said, how did it get here? I didn't have any clue Turner was going to do this. And it's just, I'm so confused. And he's telling her, saying, look, I'm going to vote to save Amira because we're part of the alliance together and all that. He said, but Nicole, I got to say, it may benefit my game better to save Terrence than Amira, because I'm afraid she's just going to keep putting me up over and over again. Nicole said, nah, that's not going to happen. I won't let that happen. And Michael said, well, it doesn't matter because I'm voting to save Amira because the alliance is more important than my personal game and all that. Yeah, right. But he's saying what he needs to say. Michael's certainly playing his role in the leftover alliance. All right, we got Nicole finally meeting with Terrence in HOH room, and tell him that she's telling him that he doesn't have the votes and that he's going home. Man, it's like a Hallmark movie. It's the doctor giving bad news to a patient or something. She is so, yeah, it kills me, Terrence. This is horrible. We could have made it to the end, you and me and Daniel. I never expected that it was ever lead to this, and it's breaking my heart. And she's just turning it on full speed. But she's down saying, look, you just don't have the votes. And Terrence is taking it well. He said, well, I fought the good fight. I'll walk out of here with my head held high. And thank you. I thought we had it going on, Nicole, but I'm proud of what I've done. I've made my mark and handled it quite well. And then later we find out that, well, maybe he kind of already knew that he's probably not going home tomorrow. And we'll talk about that in a second. So I think Terrence is the kind of guy, he would have handled it fine anyway. Doesn't mean he wants to go home, but he would have handled it fine no matter what. But especially if he's already heard that maybe things are afoot. It's that much easier for him to just kind of take everything she's saying and throw his hands up and say, whatever, it is what it is, Nicole. Nicole did, I think, make a little bit of strategic blunder in her conversation with Terrence. She said, since you're going home tomorrow, I can go ahead and tell you my secret. I was a cop for 10 years. And oh, really? Okay. And so now she's told Terrence as well that she's a cop. She's told a couple other people. I can't remember. Daniel knows, I think maybe Michael and Joseph or Monty. I can't remember. There's a few people who know. At this point in time, especially once Nicole becomes a target from the other side, from all sides, it seems like word's going to get out quick. That's going to be thrown out there as another justification for sending Nicole out the door. So she didn't do herself any favors by telling Terrence her secret, as she thinks he's headed out the door. All right, we've got Michael and Kyle talking a little bit. They're worried about how upset Nicole is going to be when Terrence stays. Remember how I said Nicole likes to be the keeper of the information? She likes to feel like she's got control over everything and knows everything that's going on. Well, when Amira goes home, Nicole's going to realize that there's a whole bit of information and bit of this game that she doesn't have any clue about. They're saying she is going to be upset, very upset, and they're trying to figure out what they can do to calm that down or to make it a little easier. They're saying that they might both say that you mentioned about throwing sympathy votes. We threw sympathy votes to Terrence, and next thing we know, he's safe, and we have no clue what's going on. We're as oblivious to it as you are, Nicole. So they're trying to figure out how to lessen the impact to some degree. Remember the whole idea. Try to keep the idea of this leftover alliance protected, make it look like Turner's just a lone wolf type situation. All right, we've got Jasmine, Michael, and Amira talking. Jasmine is talking about how now that she's had this talk with Joseph, she's saying, I'm going to throw the HOH without being obvious. I may say slightly wrong answers if it's a mental competition, pull the wrong tile, whatever. But she's basically letting it be known that she doesn't want to win this HOH. Amira is talking, saying, well, if I win HOH, it's pretty obvious. I'm going for Turner. That's who I'm going to. I want Turner on the block. Well, that's what the leftovers want. They want Turner on the block because that means Jasmine's on the block. And then they think they can send Jasmine home. And at least for right now, it looks like they probably could. Amira, I think, is the one who says that she is already preparing her goodbye message for Turner. She's that ready to have him out the door. There's goodbye messages have already been prepared for Amira as well. It's a little inside scoop. Before every eviction, even if it's guaranteed eviction or whatever else, every house guest is brought into the diary room, and you do 2 goodbye messages for each of the contestants. And you're allowed to talk as long as you want, as short as you want. They just say, start talking. And so that's how that works. All right. We've got Jasmine, Amira, and Brittany talking. Jasmine saying that it's pretty obvious. Turner and Daniel are the next two to go. You hear Daniel's name mentioned, and you're hearing Nicole's name mentioned too. The girls, the Pose Alliance. There's a lot of members of that side of the house that really are not trusting of Daniel and Nicole at this point in time. All right, we've got Turner and Terrence talking up in the HOH room. This is right after. Someone's calling me. Right after Nicole had her little conversation, a fairly long conversation with Terrence. Turner and Terrence are up there meeting. Turner is telling Terrence, saying, look, I'm not going to throw out names or anything else, but I'm just letting you know that you probably aren't going anywhere tomorrow night. And Terrence at this point mentions it, says, yeah, I talked to Michael and Brittany and Taylor and kind of got that feel. And I'm not sure how explicit they were to him. I'm not sure if they said, you're staying, exactly what they said, but apparently they kind of let on already that don't give up just yet, Terrence. And so he's telling Turner, so yeah, I kind of heard the same thing before. Terrence is saying he's just looking for a place to land, and that he really, Turner said, where do you want to go after this? And Terrence says, I want to go with the people I feel have kind of been treated as the outsiders of this house. I want to work with them and see if we can't make something happen, which should feed right into what Turner and the rest of the leftovers are looking for. And in fact, there's talk a little bit later about how the leftovers handle Terrence and what they do with them. All right, we've got Nicole, Daniel, and Amira talking. These are the three that are staying in the Jetsons' bedroom. Nicole is saying that she told Turner that Amira is staying, that she broke the news to him as well, and that Turner said something like, oh, are you sure? Is there anything we can do? She said, no, but that's just the way it is. Daniel's responding, saying how stupid Turner's move was. He should have thought it through so much more. Nicole's telling Daniel that Jasmine has said that she wants Daniel and Kyle up as the next duo. So she's actually telling Daniel, saying, hey, Jasmine's mentioned your name, so just so you know. Here's the thing. This move by the leftovers to flip and basically put up Amira and Terrence so they can send Amira home, it isn't just a matter of taking out a strong member of the girls and the POPAC alliance. It also, because of the way it's been put together, is causing these alliances, the old school, the girls, the POPAC, it's causing the alliances on the other side of the house to absolutely implode. Suddenly people are pointing fingers at each other. They don't know who to trust. And I think it only gets worse after this evening. So what a brilliant move this thing has been. All right. More talk about which of them give Terrence the sympathy votes this evening. They're so oblivious. They just don't understand how things are going to happen this evening. All right, we've got Michael and Brittany talking. Michael is saying that Kyle wants Alyssa out next. Kyle really doesn't want to have any accusations of a showmance, does he? It seems like he's kind of done a 180 and is almost becoming very over the top in the way he wants Alyssa out as a way to, it makes me think of Shakespeare, methinks you doth protest too much, something like that. But yeah, it seems like he's going overboard to let everyone know how much he doesn't want to showmance with Alyssa and how he's willing to boot her as a way to prove it itself. All right, Brittany's saying, yeah, I'm not sure that really makes sense. I want to target Daniel first. That's who Brittany wants to go after. And I think there's a lot of people that feel that way. All right, Daniel and Terrence are talking now. Daniel's kind of following up on Nicole, saying, man, I hate this, Terrence. It's horrible. But he also is saying, look, I'm going to vote to save you. I'm just telling you right now, I'm going to vote to save you, but I don't think the votes are going to go your way. I think there's more that's taking place in this house than just the old school alliance. Yeah, there is. All right. Have-nots are over. Indy and Alyssa are celebrating. They're very happy that they finally get to eat regular food. Alyssa, as much as we laughed about Turner earlier, hygiene, and all that, I'm not sure Alyssa took a shower all week long. She said she wasn't because she had like cold showers. So not only do they get to eat, but Alyssa now gets to shower as well. Next week's have-nots is it kind of mean for me to suggest that I kind of would like to see Jasmine end up as a have-not, as much as she's complained about going on slop and everything. I kind of I'd have a little fun watching that happen. Does that mean? I don't know. No, I still want to see it. All right, Monty and Joseph are talking. Monty is saying that Nicole is playing mean and that she is now his number one target. Nicole really played too hard tonight. She tried to get into too many conversations. All right, Terrence and Monty are talking. Monty is telling Terrence, saying, look, there's a way for you to stay. I'm not saying it's 100%, Terrence, but I'm saying there's a good chance for you to stay. So just stay cool. Don't act any different, but just trust us that things are good. Terrence is mentioning the fact that he doesn't really trust Daniel or Nicole at this point. And so again, you're hearing a lot of people from all the different groups that are turning on Daniel and Nicole. Those two are quickly becoming the outliers. All right, we've got Brittany, Michael, Taylor, and Kyle checking in. I think they were in the kitchen area around the island checking in. Michael was saying that Joseph was the only name that Amira was willing to throw out as a target, that she's so aligned with everyone else, and that's a little bit scary. She only would mention Joseph. Kyle is saying that Nicole said that Taylor is her target for next week. Taylor's there listening to this. So she says, yeah, Nicole's coming after you. Don't think that the girls have all just, settle on you now, Taylor. It's still same old, same old. And I missed a lot of conversation because these guys are getting way too good at whispering. Couldn't even follow half of what was said, but they're just checking in with each other, making sure everyone's good. All right, we've got Amira and Joseph laying in the bed together. So maybe this suggestion of a showmance or something to it. But is this a little bit of the start of some showmancing right before Joseph boots her out the door? Could be. In fact, I think it's Nicole or Daniel, one or the other, who says, how brutal would that be if he's in bed with Amira and then votes her out tomorrow? And Joseph said, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. All right, we got Turner and Michael talking. We're getting towards the end. Turner and Michael are talking. Monty's saying that Terrence can be a shadow 8 to the leftovers. Again, this is getting back to Terrence saying he kind of wants to work with the outsiders. And so Turner and Michael are saying, well, maybe don't make him an official member of the leftovers, but he could be the shadow 8 that is a vote for us, and we watch out for him as long as we can and all that. So we'll see how that works out. 8's a big number to have in any kind of alliance. 7's a big number to have in the alliance. All right, Turner is saying that Nicole actually said that she and Daniel would like to work with Turner, and Turner's saying, I don't know. I didn't know what to say. Do I say yes and y'all think I'm a traitor? Do I say no and then I don't get information from her? And Monty saying, yeah, I'd never turn down an offer. We get it. If they offer it, say it. We'll get the information. Monty's saying that Jasmine is not trusting Nicole at this point at all. Kyle at this point comes in. Kyle's got a new issue. Kyle says he's a little bit worried about Taylor. Says that she told him that she was all in with this group, that no problem, she's all in. But she really would like to be reminded about some of what the girls were saying about her, because they're doing a good job of trying to bring her in and making her part of the girls and all of that. How unfortunate it would be if Taylor flipped and because of that somehow Amira stayed in the house. It's not going to happen. Taylor's in with this group. She's voting to send Amira out the door, but at least it's got Kyle a little bit concerned. Monty immediately goes upstairs to talk to Taylor, who's up in the bumper pool lounge room a little bit. And then eventually we have not only Monty and Taylor up there, but Brittany and Turner show up at some point. And they're talking about how nice the girls have suddenly become. Brittany is saying it, Taylor's saying it, that now that they kind of are a little bit more worried, they're being a lot nicer. Turner starts to tell Brittany and Taylor some of the things that he's overheard, some really brutal conversations about the two of them. And just as he starts to talk about the feeds move away, we see Alyssa and Kyle downstairs in the bathroom. They're starting a little flirting going on, little body contacting here and there until Kyle gets up and leaves. He's trying to avoid it, but certainly we see a little bit of that. Eventually, we do get to back to the upstairs conversation. Michael's suggesting that they're trying to figure out how to, again, do damage control after the vote. Michael's saying, maybe we say that we heard Nicole and Daniel were voting to save Terrence, and therefore we did the same thing because, we want to vote with the House, so we switched as well, and thinking maybe they could cover their tracks a little bit like that. So they're trying to figure out how to cover up those leftovers. We've got that. All right, we've got Kyle and Turner in the have-not room. They're talking about an idea that they're thinking this could be an 8-3 vote. Did I say Kyle and Turner? I think it's Kyle and Taylor. Kyle and Taylor in the have-not room talking about it's a potential 8-3 vote. They kind of last say, should we throw sympathy votes back to and vote to save Amira, just so instead of 8-3, it's like 6-5, so that it screws things up and no one knows what's going on. And they both say, yeah, no, we're not taking that chance. No sympathy votes from our side. If it's 8-3, so be it. So they do mention that. talking about what they want to do going forward. And really, they want Daniel and Nicole out. Well, Nicole is paired up with Taylor. Daniel is paired up with Kyle. Kyle says, look, you're an idiot to ever volunteer to be a pawn. You know, it's pooch proved and all. He says, but I think I trust this group enough that I would be okay going on the block in order to get Daniel out. They don't want Daniel in jury. They want him gone pre-jury. And they think the duos will still be in existence. So Kyle's saying, you know, depending on what's going on, maybe I'd be okay with that going on the block, just if it means that we can get Daniel out the door. And Taylor saying, yeah, I'll be willing to do the same thing if it means getting Nicole out. So they're willing to do that. They're saying that Daniel and Nicole need to be the next two to go if at all possible. So there you have it. As I start recording this, Taylor is still awake upstairs in the Bumper Pool Lounge. Everyone else is in bed. These guys stay up forever, but Taylor's still awake. Everyone else is asleep. And there you have it. Tonight's going to be fantastic. Oh, just the vote. I think it's got to be Amir going home. I don't see how it doesn't happen. The question is how many votes, who throws sympathy votes, who doesn't. And then we get HOH. And as everyone says every single week, but this time it really is true. This HOH is going to be huge. We'll see who has the power. We're going to find out about the twist, what that does in terms of Terrence, if he's the survivor, and how that affects him. All kinds of information to talk about tomorrow. So, guys, y'all have a fantastic Thursday. Enjoy the episode tonight, and I'll be back tomorrow to fill you in on all the details about the after effects of the HOH and tonight's vote. It's going to be glorious. Cheers, guys. SKD 143. Bye.